In this video, I'm going to teach you how to draw in Photoshop. There's a lot of really fun tools in Photoshop, and if we take a look at the left-hand side here, you'll be able to see those tools. If you click on this little line right here, you can drag this over to the right, and if we click this double arrow right here, we can see the tools in a more compact form, and plus it allows us to see some other things here as well that we can use to help us as we're creating. So some interesting things in here. What we're going to be using mainly here is our brushes. And so we'll see brushes right here. And if we click on the paintbrush icon, you'll see at the top there's the options for the brush. So in this particular case, the brushes, this is the brush that's selected. This is all of the different brushes that we have, and there's some other settings in here as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to select a brush to create a drawing in. This is the very first thing we're going to do. So we're going to click on this little folder right here, and it's going to open the brush settings tab. On the right hand side here, we're going to click on brushes. These two tabs are interchangeable, so we just click on them and that will be the tab that we're working in. I want to start out just working with dry brushes, but there's all kinds of different brushes that you can work with, and a brush can be anything. In this case, we're going to come up to the upper right hand corner and we're going to show the brush tip, the brush stroke, and the name of the brush all right here. If you preview on the left hand side, you'll be able to see lots of qualities of the brush. So this one's called the soft round brush. It has a soft edge to it. It's kind of fuzzy on the edge. There's the hard round brush. This one just makes a big, evenly shaped edge here. The soft round pressure brush, as you press lighter on the brush, it's a thinner mark, and as you press down harder, it gets softer and fuzzier. This one is the hard round pressure brush, and it changes size as you change pressure, but it doesn't change the fuzziness of the edge. There are also brushes that are controlled by opacity, so the harder you press, the more visible it is, and the lighter you press, the less visible it is. And then you have all kinds of different styles in between. So these are the general brushes. You could fold these up and see more or less of them. We're going to go to the dry media brush set here. We're going to be installing a whole bunch in here. We're going to get the mega pack in here. There's other things that we're going to add in here as well. There's lots of cool stuff to do in here, but we'll get to that eventually. For this one, let's go to the dry media brushes and we'll take a look. These are designed to look like pencils, and they kind of interact as if there was a pencil drawing on paper. It even has texture to it. Texture being that you can feel it, right? It's something, it looks like something you could feel. They have different sizes and different softnesses. This one's supposed to emulate charcoal. This one's a pastel crayon. And then we even have erasers in here too. You can choose from these brushes, but what I'm going to recommend for you to do is find something that you like, and experiment with them for a little bit, and then complete the assignment. In this particular case, it says design this skateboard deck to illustrate something new about you. All right, so what does that look like? Well, if I look in my layers, you'll see that I've labeled these in red, and they're locked. Don't unlock them. They're meant to be like red, stop, stay away. And this one's green. It says go. This skateboard drawing here. Make your skateboard drawing here. I have a texture in here and I have a background. Don't unlock these layers as it'll complicate the process. Okay, let's take a quick look at what the layer shows. So in the layers, you have the name of the layer here. This is just called 6. I could change the name of this if I click in here and change this to maybe say template. This is the template over the top. And I have it set so that it only shows the black part. It actually has white in it as well, as you can tell inside of the thumbnail, but I have it set up with a cool thing called a blending mode where you can only see the black part of that layer. Now underneath that, or let's finish up this tour here. This eyeball right here, if we click this eyeball, it'll turn that layer on and off. And you'll see in the background here, I have a texture in here as well. And if we click this eyeball, we can turn the visibility off on that texture. That's actually just a picture of a paintbrush that left a mark. Somebody made a brush out of it. We'll learn how to make brushes in just a little bit. But let's turn on our template layer. We'll leave it on. And I want to just show you an example of what I was working on and how this works. So you can mess around with this layer if you want to. It's not precious. It's just an example, and I drew this with my finger on my mouse tab, but you're going to be using your stylus and your tablet. So let's go ahead and open this up. See this little arrow right here? This says open this up. And I have some different layers inside of here, and you can see as I go and click through them and turn them on and off, you can see the layers below. So like this, Photoshop works in layers. So whatever's on top will cover up whatever's below it. So if we look at the example here, let's see if I can put this right next to it. And as we turn off the drawing here, you'll see the shading underneath. And then down here, let's see, I have, this is the color of the skateboard here. This is all the color of the skull and the teeth and the trucks and the wheels of the skateboard, and you can see those turn on and off right here. And let's see, we have the design over the top here. We have the grip tape in this layer. Everything's separated, right? So let's put some color into these shapes here. Now to do that, what I want to do is, there's lots of different ways to zoom in and out here, but you can press, I want you to get into using keyboard shortcuts, but this is the zoom tool, and the way the zoom tool works is,
the zoom tool is essential for viewing your images at different sizes. It allows you to zoom in and out of your image, enabling you to view details or the entire image at once. To use the zoom tool, simply select it from the toolbar or press Z on your keyboard. Next, click on any part of the image you want to see larger. Each click will increase the zoom level, bringing you closer to your image. To zoom out, you can hold Alt or Option on your keyboard and click on your image. You can also use keyboard shortcuts to quickly zoom in and out of your image. To zoom in, press Ctrl or Command and the plus key, and to zoom out, press Ctrl or Command and the minus key. You can also press Z to activate the zoom tool and simply click and drag to the left or right to zoom in and out of a specific area. Zooming in and out is an essential part of working precisely in Photoshop.
There you go. So there's all these little tips and tricks in here, and if you go over the tool itself, some of them have a video that's included in there, and if you need to know more about how to use it, do that. So keyboard shortcuts, they mentioned keyboard shortcuts in here. If you just press the letter Z, let's go up here. I'm on the main tool, the move tool, which allows me to grab things in the layer and move them around. If I press the letter Z, I will highlight the zoom tool, and then I'll see my icon change as well into a magnifying glass. So he mentioned just clicking and dragging, and that's what I'm going to do here. So I want to draw in this space right here. I want to magnify it. I'm not going to try and draw this from way out here like this. No way. I'm going to try and draw it from here. This makes it a lot easier. I can see it. It's easier to see. It's easier to work from. So zoom in, and then let's do another shortcut, B for the brush. So B, and now we have a brush selected. And I'm going to go in and choose a brush here. Let's see what we got. So we're in the dry media brushes, and I think I'm going to go with this charcoal pencil right here. I'm just going to use this one right here. So if I click on it, you can see the brush tip change, and that's what the image looks like of what we're drawing with. And then if you want to, you can click this button right here and that will fold it up, and you can move these layers around however you want to see what you're doing a little bit better. You're always moving things around and making space in Photoshop and all these different applications. So let's select a color. So if you want to choose a color, you can come down into here and double click on the front color here. There's a foreground color and a background color. We're going to use the foreground color and double click, and it'll open up the color picker. The color picker is going to allow me to drag around through here and choose the color that I want. So on the right hand side, we're going to see the rainbow spectrum: red, magenta, blue, cyan, green, yellow, and orange, and back to red. And then inside of each of these colors, we're going to see that we can have the pure color up here, but there's also all these millions of other colors that we can choose from inside of here, all these interesting colors to choose from inside of here. Notice how the color picker is set up too. Up here's the pure color. This is adding black to the color. This is adding white to the color going this way, and going this direction allows you to add gray to the color. So there's tons and tons of different colors that you can pick from in there. Once you press OK, you'll see that foreground color has changed, and that is the color that we're going to paint in. You can also set up this color wheel right here. So if we come to the color tab, remember this is all set up in the beginning, but yours looks a little bit different. Yours looks like this to start with. I'm going to ask you to go in here to the color tab and change this to the color wheel like this. And here we'll see that that line that we saw before is actually a circle where it just goes around and around here. And then we get our pure color, adding white and adding black within here. And then in the center we find adding gray to it. So you can find the colors inside of here. You can also double click in here to change the foreground color. You can slide this slider to change. This is adding white to the color. This is adding black to the color, or you can just select from inside of here. Notice as I move this around, these sliders change as well. So how much white are we adding? How much black are we adding? Saturation and brightness. That's what these two stand for, saturation and brightness. Okay, let's paint something. I'm going to click here. I'm going to zoom in this spot right here. I just captured the color of the wheel from the other image, and I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to start to draw. Now what you'll notice is my drawing is going over the top of my line drawing, and so that makes it really difficult for me to stay in the lines, right? So Photoshop makes it really easy for you to do this, and I've included a layer here for you to draw in. So I'm gonna go here to the layers tab, and I am going to trash that layer that I just started drawing in right there, because I don't want to draw in that. I actually want you to draw in this layer right here. So we're going to turn on the visibility of this layer, and we're going to make sure it's highlighted, and then we're going to start to draw. And watch what happens as we draw in here. You'll see that that drawing that I'm putting in, the color that I'm applying here, is going underneath the line drawing. So this is over the top of this, and I don't have to worry about those edges so much. You know, if you come out the side, you might need to fix that. And we'll just add some color in there. Let's come down here to this one, and we'll just add some color here too. Right. You know, You can have some style to it. You can choose the brush that you want to use. I would say watch out for using big soft brushes because they make it difficult to fill these spaces in. But let's say I wanted to change the color here, so this one was a little bit different. Let's add a little bit of white to it. So I'm going to change that here. I'm going to add a little bit of white to this color, and I'm going to come back in here, zooming in again to paint with something that's bigger, not something that's smaller. I really enjoy working with big objects. I see a lot of people trying to draw these little tiny things, you know, with the whole thing zoomed out like this. But that is really hard. That's hard to nail that. And so don't forget to zoom in. Remember, Z, click and drag. Put the magnifying glass where you want it to go and zoom in. B for brush. Draw that thing in there. There it goes. Let's do this and this. I did some tricky stuff to get this wood texture in here. I'll show you more about that as we progress, but you can just fill it in however you see fit. What will be the drawing that you're going to put in yours? So that's just the example of how to put this in, just putting in color just to get the general overview. But what about if I want to draw in my own design in here? Well, let's think about this. The first thing we want to do is maybe think about what are we going to draw? So is it going to be a happy face? Is it going to be, you know, something about you? What is it going to be? What are you going to share about you? And in the layers, we're going to hit this plus sign right here. And with the plus sign, we're going to make a new layer. Whoops, let's undo that. And in this layer, let's go ahead and add in some new stuff here. So let's put a line drawing. Let's click on the name and change this and say line drawing. Press return. It says line drawing. Let's right click on it, give it a color, and choose green. These are our goes. Let's choose a brush. For the outline, I'm going to stay consistent with this and choose black. You can just hit the default here. The shortcut for that is the letter D. Watch, if you hover over things too, you'll see it'll show you what the shortcut is. So if you look over here, let me zoom out just a little bit. There it is. On the right hand side, it says default foreground and background colors is the letter D. So if I just tap the letter D, you'll see this get selected as the foreground color and background color. That's the default. If you click this little arrow right here, you can reverse those two, and the shortcut for that one is X. So if we tap the letter X, we'll reverse the foreground and background color. Let's paint in black here. I'm going to choose, let's see, no, I like this brush. Let's use this brush. So I'm just drawing with my finger here. You're going to draw with your stylus. So I'm just going to do my best to draw a little face. Okay, so I'll do like a happy face. And you'll see as I draw in here, you see it show up in the thumbnail here. That's what we're drawing in this layer. And let's go with the big schmirk. Maybe I'll add in a little bit of weight to that. We'll do a little of this, and I might even just fill this in with black right here. It's a classic happy face. All right, so there's my drawing. Now I'm just going to keep this simple for right now. Other things I want to do in the skateboard layer, remember skateboard drawing right here. Let's lock this layer down. If we don't want to interact with this layer anymore, let's hit this lock right here. Right here, click that, and this thing's locked, and now you can't draw in that layer anymore. It'll start to make a new layer. And if you see it's making a new layer like this, undo that. Command Z. Hold the Command key and tap the letter Z and change that. Okay? So with it locked, now we're going to put some color underneath. So let's go into our skateboard drawing here. And I might switch the size of this brush. Now here's a shortcut for changing the size of the brush. If you look on your keyboard and you see the letter P, to the right of that you're going to see the bracket keys. The right bracket key makes the brush bigger. The left bracket key makes the brush smaller. We'll use the right bracket key, and I'm going to paint in some color in the back here. And let's go with blue this time. I did red the last time, but I'm going to switch it up and go with like maybe like a teal color, something like this, a little bit on the darker side. And then I'm just going to start to draw in. Now watch, I'm just going to kind of be reckless here. I'm not going to be super precious about it, because remember Photoshop works in layers, and I can stack layers over the top of this. So I'm going to be cautious about the edges, but I'm not going to be super precious about it either. I like the kind of hand-drawn quality. And you might be like, Mr. Cross, you messed up, you went over this. Yeah, for now, but I'm going to fix that in just a minute. So stay with me and you'll see what we're going to do next. I'm going to go bigger. This is a bigger space. I'm going to draw with a bigger brush. So go ahead and amplify the size of the brush if you feel like it. Let's pull this down into here, and I'm going to finish off the skateboard tail down here. Make it a little bit smaller. Remember, bracket keys, shortcuts. Left bracket key makes it smaller. Right bracket key makes it bigger. And we're just going to paint this in. Okay, so you'll see now I've got some color here. I've got some color here. Well, I want to add in the color of the happy face here. So I'm going to add a new layer. It's going to go over the top. You can name these. It's good to get in the habit of naming things in Photoshop, because a lot of times we get lots of different layers, but there's lots of people that work in all kinds of different ways. So if you're lazy bones about it and you don't want to label every single layer, you're not alone. But if you want to stay organized, it really is helpful to label your layers and be concise. Okay, I'm going to right click even and make this a green also to change the color here. And now I'm going to paint in yellow. And see that yellow goes right over the top of my blue and behind the black line, which gives me the ability to fill that in over the top. Okay, I could do the same thing in these layers. Because these are not connected to this, and I want to draw over the top of the blue, I'm going to go ahead and draw in this layer again. I'm going to put some more stuff in here. So let's make the wheels red this time. We'll go a little bit different. Let's make the wheels orange. Let's stick with the happy face theme here. Let's go a little bit darker orange. There we go. Now, as I zoom in, you'll see that the brush gets too big for that space. So I'm going to reduce the size of the brush, and I'm going to paint. Just like this. Let me come over to this side, and I'm going to paint in here again. And then we'll do the wheels. I like making noises while I draw. Oh, you see I got really reckless there. I went outside the lines. Check this out. You have erasers too. If you press the letter E, you will switch to an eraser. And the erasers can be selected as brushes as well. So if you want to change the way the eraser is working, you can choose. I'm using the eraser that's in the dry brush media. It's called Kyle's eraser with a natural edge. And this one is pressure sensitive. You can also change the size of this. And you can also assign it to the end of your paintbrush that you're working with. I'm going to switch to this layer and take out a little bit of this blue that's spilling over the edge as well, and just erase the edge to clean it up. So, drawing in Photoshop. You can keep this going. So again, over the top of this, I want to go over the background here. Let's zoom in. trucks are probably going to be gray. If you want to look at some preset colors, you can click on swatches, and they're organized. Swatches are just sets of colors that are you can just go quickly and tap on to select. Like for example, I want to choose grayscale. There's a bunch of grayscales. There's pastel colors. There's light colors, pure colors, darker colors, even darker colors, and then there's pale colors in here. And I'm going to choose from the grayscale and choose something that's like metallic. So this gray right in here, and whoops, and press the letter B again. And now I'm drawing with my brush, painting. All right, so let's just get familiar with working with Photoshop this week, and let's do these two exercises. So we're gonna do the warm-ups. Number 5 and number 6, they're both on the same page here. In the bottom here, I asked you to write a word and give it a drip effect by drawing these drippy shapes like this, okay, and then paint them in. There's all kinds of ways to complete this assignment, so I'll look forward to seeing what you make. But remember, we have to come up with an end product here, and to do that, we have to save our work and we have to export it as well. So you want to see how to export the film, the objects as well, and I'll just go ahead and do that right now. So you're going to finish it. I'm just going to keep moving on from here. Remember, you can add as many layers as you want to. I always recommend putting the black line drawing over the top of the color layers, and keep this texture layer in here for this one. I just want to see the texture behind so we get a sense of space. There's something in the front and something behind. All right, when you're done, what you want to do is go to File. Up at the top, we'll choose the File menu, and we'll come down to where it says Save. And actually, let's do Save As. Let's go to File and Save As. Let's just Save As. And what we want to do for this, so that we have a file that we can turn in. First off, let's save the project. So let's do Save to Cloud Documents. And what you'll see is it says Save to Creative Cloud, and then right here you get to name it. So this is Warmup. This is actually Warmup 5 and 6 in the same one here. And we'll hit the Save button. Oh, sorry, we're not allowed to use that. Look, it says name cannot contain the following characters. Okay, so instead of that, let's do Shift _ and we can get that. Let's press Save. Boom, and that's saved. Now, if I want to open up that file again really quickly, say I closed it up, I want to go and open that really quickly, I can come up to the File menu and choose Open Recent. And see this little cloud right here? That's a cloud document. It means it's you can open it from anywhere. If I click this, it'll open that file with all of my layers, all my brushes, everything that I had before will be there for me. Okay, so we can't turn this in yet. We have to make a picture out of it, and this is the last part, okay? We're going to go to the File menu, and we're going to go to Export, and we're going to save this as what's called a PNG file format. Portable Network Graphic. And this is a good high quality export. And when we click on this button, it's going to say, where do you want to save this to? And where I want you to save it to is your warm-ups folder. It's going to say Warmup 5.6. And then when you click Save, you won't see anything happen here, but when we go to our drive, what you're going to see is that inside of here, there is warmup 5.6.png. This is the file that you're going to upload in Canvas. So when I go to Canvas, and I look at warm-ups, and I look at This is number 5 because I'm doing the skateboard, and it has all those details in here as well. And remember, we made that new folder in your multimedia semester 1 folder called Warmups. We're going to save it to that folder. And now, when I go to view as a student, you will see that I don't have it set up correctly. Oh no. Let's edit that. Let's change that. So I'm going to edit this. And yes. Okay. So it says at the bottom, post the PNG file for credit. File uploads. Okay, so we want to restrict it to .png files. And that should be saved. Let's go back to student view. Take a look here. Oh, this is saying I have the prerequisite of grading period. I have to do the warm-ups for grading period 1. You have to do them in sequence. So when you get to warm-up number 5, you know what, let's change that. Let's skip that. Let's change that setting in here. I think that's going to cause problems for people. So let's go back to assignments and edit that. I want to edit the module. Here we go. Sorry, bear with me. We're going to change the module. Edit. And we're going to turn this off. Let's trash this. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. So now you have access to everything. Let's go back to it. Let's take a look at this module. Here's number 5 again. We'll click on it. And I'll go to the student view. And you'll see it. There we go. It says start assignment. And now when we click on start assignment, you're going to upload a file. Choose the file. And then we're going to navigate to warmup 5.6 PNG. You'll see the thumbnail here, and then press open. And that's what you're going to post. So when you click submit assignment, hey, there we go. So we have submitted. And then I'll leave this, and I'll be able to read that and see that when I go to grade. Okay? Hopefully that's helpful. Don't forget to save your work. The shortcut to save, by the way, Command S to save. And you just click Command S and it'll automatically save that. You're going to do the same for the next project here. And this is number 6, write a word and give it a drip effect. Before you do that, select all 3 of your layers, or all the layers that you've made, and then what we're going to do is we're going to make a group out of that. And you can see right here, when I did that, I clicked this folder, and then now we have skateboard, and then we can make a new folder here, and this one will be drip effect. And we can start adding layers to drip effect, and those will stay inside of this one. We can turn off the visibility of the skateboard, and we can go to the drip effect to do our next one. Okay, so that's the overview of working in Photoshop. We're going to be doing 2 of these a week. Remember, they're short, so have fun with it and make cool stuff. And let's choose a layer here. Yeah. Just like drawing. Mike. Right. And then then you can start to add your drip effects to it. So making things drip down off of it. So much dripping. And then you can fill these in however you want. So you can go in and choose a color and start to paint underneath. Remember, choose your brush, choose your color, paint it in, and we'll go right over the top. Oh, remember to zoom in real close, okay, as you're working. And you can switch it up. You can change colors while you're working. Mix them up a little bit. There's some different colors you could add in. Change the brightness. I'll go more yellow up here. Whatever you want. Have fun with it, okay? All right. We'll do the same thing. Command S to save, and you'll export again, and this one will be number 6. That's it.